totally, like having that control. But yeah, as I say, like my first Chief Stew season, I just felt like I was still really coming into that role. So I felt much more comfortable in it in the second season. And you feel like you've achieved so much more because you are the leader, you are the one that's responsible.
Do you have like a low or just like one regret that stands out, either from like Med or Down Under, just something that kind of is something you regret that you've done or how you handled something, or just a low of the whole experience?
I would say my only regret would be letting Ryan and Magda get away with things for as long as they did, and so many people praise me for it. They're like, wow, you've got so much patience, blah blah. But when I look back, I'm like, I feel like I've got too much patience for being in a leadership role, because at the end of the day, it's my job to make sure everything's running efficiently and swiftly. And I really should have said something to Jason sooner, or put my foot down a lot sooner. But it was in the case of, for example, Ryan, he was just so inexperienced and so terrible that I didn't actually know what to do with him, because I've never dealt with a chef that's that behind before. And so I was like, what do I train him? I didn't actually really know how to deal with it. And I should have gone to Jason sooner.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Did you see your career like so after Below Deck Med? Like, did you see your career change? Like, did you have a huge positive uptick? What is the effect of being on Below Deck in the actual working industry? Is it mostly positive? Can it be negative if someone goes on and, is lazy, doesn't do a good job on national TV, is always drunk, hooking up with charter guests? Like, what's the effect of Below Deck and what did it have on your career?
Yeah, so definitely if you go on the show and you're an asshole or you treat people bad, that sticks, man. Especially in the States where you're trying to get work and stuff. People talk, and unfortunately, if you mess up once on the TV, it's like that's your brand then. It always boggles me that, I mean, not that nothing that I do is put on, but it always just blows my mind that people will come on the show and act like absolute tools and not think to themselves, like, this is literally, now it's almost worldwide, like so many countries around the world watch this show. So unfortunately, that's kind of what you get branded as, and it sticks. But luckily for me, I've had such positive feedback. I've got the most amazing fans. I get the most lovely messages, and I truly have had almost no hate or bullying or anything. It's all just been super positive. And so for me, it actually, people are always like, oh, if you go on Below Deck, you're gonna ruin your yachting career. Which, first of all, I'm like, I don't want to be a yachty until I'm 60. Who fucking cares? And second of all, it actually has helped it, because a lot of the time when I've applied for jobs, the owners or the owners' friends have been like, oh my gosh, we love her, she's from the show. And they love that you've come on. I mean, even my sister gets annoyed because she gets guests that come on and she looks a little bit like me, and they always ask, oh, do you know Aesha? And she'll be like, oh, she's my sister. And they won't stop going on about it, and they want to get me on the boat. And so people actually find it really exciting, and I think it helps with the work. And then in terms of my career as a whole, I mean, I want to have a TV career. So it's just really helped me. I've got a following, I get lots of cameos, it's opened opportunities.
Right. It's led to Galley Talk.
Yeah, exactly. It's truly the best thing that's ever happened to me. It's so awesome.
What was it like when you were on Net as a second stew working with Captain Sandy?
Oh, it was awesome. You know what? Being the second stew on the Med, God, it's easy. Now that I'm the chief stew, I'm like, fuck, being second is so easy. It was just like a holiday almost. Like, obviously you're working really hard, but not having that responsibility and just taking orders is so relaxing. But I think with Sandy, we actually have a much closer relationship now that I'm like chief stew and I'm not second, because I think when I was on the boat with her as second, especially in season 4, it was very much a captain stew relationship. And I think because Hannah who was above me wasn't living up to her expectations. I felt like kind of the interior as a whole wasn't getting that much praise, and that really frustrated me because I knew that I was doing such a good job and working so hard. And I actually, I don't know if you remember, but in season 4 I actually said at the end dinner, I feel like we didn't get enough praise, and that was my low. And I don't know, I feel like that hurt Captain Sandy a bit, which I probably regret that too, but I just felt frustrated that we weren't getting praise, and that kind of stemmed from Hannah. But now that I've left the show, Sandy and I have a great friendship. I went up to Denver a couple months ago to have dinner with her and Leah, and I just think she's wonderful. She's such a good human.
And you think what, because you said it at the end of season 4, like you kind of regret it, like you just felt like it hurt Sandy's feelings of like, we're not getting enough.
Yeah, and I really didn't mean it to, and I don't think it was until I looked back that I thought that she might have looked a little bit hurt. And I think she's actually said that she felt bad because her not giving the interior praise was focused at Hannah, and she didn't want me to feel like I wasn't doing. Oh yeah, she actually said to me when I went to give her the hug the next day when I was walking off, she was like, I hope that you know, like, I think that you have done such an amazing job. But I felt like I just needed to vent that, because all season it was just like, interior stepping up, and I was like, what the fuck, like I'm working my ass off, I'm doing everything right.
You're like, this doesn't get any better than this, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it really irritated me, but no, it was fine. And she's amazing. Her partner's Leah is amazing, and yeah, they're really great.
Now that you have worked on Below Deck as a first stew, Below Deck Down Under with Captain Jason, like what do you feel about Hannah and Bugsy, who are both of your chief stews? Like, how do you feel they handled being chief stew?
I honestly think both of them did such a wonderful job, because it's really hard to explain to people what kind of pressure you are under, because running a boat in itself is so hard. And we are literally arriving to the boat the day before. So we've only just seen the boat. We have to fully provision. We've only just met our team. So we've got no idea how anyone works. And we're just thrown into this situation where, I mean, the chief stew really does run everything. You're responsible for everything. It's all on you. Everyone's looking to you, asking you questions. So you've got that, which is so difficult in itself. And then on top of that, because the cameras are rolling, I mean, you've kind of got to remember, we are trying to create this entertaining show. And so it's not that I change my personality or anything, but often in yachting, I remember on some boats, people would be like, say goodbye to Aesha, the season's starting, because I take my job so seriously that when the season would start, I'd kind of go into this real work zone, and it was just serious, like work. And so I